Hello, good evening, it's Richard here, it's Thursday evening. I wasn't going to make a video today, I wasn't in the mood, and I decided to start a piece of knitting that I needed to start, so I did, and made some progress on that. And then when it came to think about dinner, I thought I really fancy a risotto. We've got loads of pumpkins, why not make a pumpkin risotto? And then I thought to myself, I don't really want to stand for half an hour stirring a risotto, having chopped all the ingredients ready, in readiness for it. So I thought, well, I'm going to do an oven-baked risotto. Yeah, oven-baked. Easier, it is easier. So why don't you come in the kitchen and I'll show you how. Okay, so I prepared all the ingredients, as you can see, all ready, all organised. So we've got some olive oil, there's my black pepper mill, there's about 500 grams of butternut squash, cubed, peeled, deseeded, glass of wine, some chopped parsley at the back there. There's about 300 grams of arborio rice, that's risotto rice. We've got a chopped onion, we've got about 4 small cloves of garlic there. I've got here some, I don't know if you can see that, some chopped sage, about 5 or 6 leaves, fresh, some frozen peas, and I've got, I think it's about 1.2 litres of stock, and then some Parmesan cheese. So with risotto, what you need to sort of go on is, in terms of liquid, it's 4 times the amount of liquid to rice, approximately. Obviously, you're going to get a little bit more liquid with the pumpkin and the peas. And I'm going to start it off on the top of the cooker in this pan here. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's got a good fitted lid and it fits in the oven. So once I've started it off, it's going to go into the oven. And I'm going to start it like I would any other risotto. Okay, so let's get this pan heated up. A glug of olive oil, I would say that's probably a tablespoon, I would have thought. Get that heated up. Once it's heated, turn the heat down a little bit. Don't want it too high. Onions and garlic. And at this point you probably want to turn your oven on as well. And it's important with a risotto to get the flavour base sorted at the beginning. Now what I'm now going to do is I'm going to turn the heat up slightly. I'm going to add my sage and my peas. I'm turning the heat up because the peas are frozen. Just give them a little whiz around. And you want to just defrost the peas. If they were fresh, you'd simply quickly whiz them round. You might even add them later. But this is the way I'm doing it, so if you're using frozen, follow this method. Your rice. Add your rice. And then make sure it's coated fully in the mixture. So you can see the rice sort of shining a little bit. It's good. You don't want it to colour though. Now you feel it starting to stick. That's when your white wine comes in. Throw your wine in. And let that just boil off. You can smell that, it's gorgeous. Oh. It's about a glass of white wine. You can use a little bit more if you want to. Just let that boil away, starting to boil away, and it also deglazes the pan, so it's no longer sticking to the pan. That's good. We don't want it to stick. We don't want any colour at this stage at all. The rice will start to absorb the wine. You can see it's starting to disappear. And as soon as you feel that that wine has kind of soaked into the rice, you then want to add your pumpkin. Now at this point you can actually turn the heat off, because you don't want it to stick. Add your stock. And I need to add just a little bit more, just to make up the amount, because it wasn't the full amount in that jug. There we are. Make sure all the grains of rice are completely under the stock. Make sure it's fully mixed. Don't worry, it looks like a bath of pumpkin at the moment. Don't worry about that at all, because all of that liquid is going to get absorbed. And this is where you might add any other seasonings that you want. So I'm adding a good amount of black pepper, a good amount. I like a lot of black pepper. If your lid doesn't fit properly, this one does, it's a good fit actually. If it doesn't, you can use baking parchment or foil to seal it in properly, because we need to keep the moisture in. So the water, the stock, is absorbed into the rice. Okay, notice I'm not adding any salt at this stage, because we're reserving the Parmesan, and this is as much Parmesan as you want to use basically, and we're also reserving the chopped parsley as well. That's going to go on at the end. This goes into a preheated oven at about 180 degrees C for 45 minutes. You don't need to look at it, just leave it. When you take it out, you're going to need to stir it thoroughly at that point. And if you feel the rice isn't cooked or the liquid isn't fully absorbed, it needs to go back in the oven for another 5 minutes. The other thing to bear in mind is that a risotto should be creamy. It shouldn't be dry like a biryani. It should be creamy, almost like a savoury rice pudding, but not as fine. There should still be texture in the rice. It should be, you should be able to bite on the rice. It shouldn't be like a complete cream, but it should be soft and creamy. So, let's put that into the oven and see what happens. So after about 45 minutes cooking, it should look something like this. So most of the liquid has been absorbed. The pumpkin is cooked, it's softened, so give it a good stir. Now this is kind of how I like it. It's creamy, the rice is cooked. Now you can add salt at this stage, pinch of salt, to taste, and this is when you add your parsley. And your Parmesan. Give it a good stir through. Check the seasoning, give it a taste. Perfect. It's fresh, it's light, it's tasty. The Parmesan just gives it that lovely edge. Like I say, if you want to add more salt you can do, but for me that's really tasty. Creamy, fresh and light. So enjoy and let us know if you try this recipe. So it's pumpkin risotto with peas, parsley and Parmesan. Bon appetit!